Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and I yelled hi at you. Seems like I'm yelling in these videos. But anyway, in this classic review of the G.I. Joe stuff, we're going to be taking a look at the Water Moccasin as we just looked at Copperhead. Now, this is not my original one, but I'm willing to bet that if I put this in water, it would sink just as fast as my original one. And before anyone says, no, that thing floated, it floated for a short bit, but the moment water hit here, this thing just did a nosedive, and it was like the Titanic, only it didn't crack in two. I don't know, maybe yours cracked in two. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this and everything that it came with, how it looked, and again, this is still one of the coolest things. This is one of those ones, in my opinion, they could have enlarged, and it could have been something to compete actually with the, I want to say the USS Whalian, the G.I. Joe Whale. I used to always call it the hovercraft. I liked hovercraft more than whale, to be honest. That's a story for another day. But we're going to take a look at this. Now, I am missing the top piece here. I don't remember if I realized I was missing it, but I sure did when I came down and I was looking at everything. But we're going to look at the design on this. Engine covers, where the guns are, the little piece on the bottom that shot out, and even the action feature, which this one doesn't work all that well. Maybe I'll try and fix it before I get to it. I probably won't. But anyway, let's get to this. Tell me a story. Is this something that you had? Is this the only water vehicle you got? Maybe you got this and the Devilfish so they could fight against each other because mom and dad wouldn't get you the whale because you weren't spoiled like old Punk was here. Anyway, before we go, let's take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a vehicle from the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero line. All right, and here is our Water Moccasin, and no, this is not my original. Although that piece right there is my original, believe it or not. I always thought this was a really good vehicle for being a mid-size. A lot of detail put into it, a lot of mechanics that get put into it. So let's take a look at everything. And I did mention I am missing the cover that goes right up there. So looking at this thing from the front, it looked really nice. I love this little gap here. I know we have the Fortnite bolt that a lot of people feel for classified, it works. I know I'm using one as a water moccasin for mine. So looking here, we get this nice detail. All right. Just some electronics, some mechanics that are running there. And then, unlike the Skyhawk, we do have a glass protection here. These guns here are not supposed to move. They're just supposed to shoot straight ahead. All right. So this would be controlled by Copperhead or whoever the pilot is. And then you get these twin guns up here that I guess you're going to control it through here, firing it. I'm assuming they're going to fire simultaneously. I don't think he's going to want these hot shells coming down, but hey, he's Cobra. Especially with those exposed shoulders, man, he's probably got so many scars on those shoulders. But as you look here, you get two different designs. Okay, you got a couple designs right here, and then the design on this gun is completely different. As for the turret, it is going to move up to this point and then move back completely around this way. So he can never shoot back and ruin the propellers, or, well, he could shoot the guys that are going to be on the sides right here. Once you get here, you get some access. All right. You got the weapons bin, which this just kind of pops right off. You can fit some weapons in there, as some of the weapons got bigger. Good luck. All right, so you just have this design right here. And if you're able to, if you still have this, take your time. As I mention all the time, just take your time. You do not want to break this. This plastic has become so brittle, the last thing that you want to do is mess with it. All right, heat it up if you need to through some hot water. Just kind of let it run over. Unless you have the stickers on, then the stickers kind of come off. You can see here, this piece here, this is actually one of my original guns, believe it or not. It was broken off because the gun that was on it was really bad. But it doesn't stay on there. So it doesn't stay on that easily. All right. So as you're coming up here, here's your engine cover. And this does pop off. You can see that it has some nice ventilation. Obviously, it has some way to torque it down because you don't want this thing flying off and blowing through your propellers as you are shooting through the swamps or the water. You can look at the engines here. Now, those look like they're two carburetors more than anything. I don't think there were dual carburetors. Maybe I'm wrong. But what you do have here, and this does not work properly because the propeller is in the wrong spot. There's a gap here. It doesn't want to stay in there. I have to take the whole thing apart. And I've done it before and it doesn't want to stay there. But you're able to turn this and it's actually able to spin. Now, because this is sticking out too far, it actually runs into this piece right here. So these fins or whatever they're actually called, when they do move, this actually crashes into it. All right, but I'm not doing that. I'm not using that feature right now. So we're gonna pop this back on here. And again, it is cool that they give you these engine bays, but then this thing sticks out. And it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It's not like, oh my God, that thing is so big. You just notice it. And I cannot believe I said that either. Here we have two little platforms. So you can have one figure on this side and one figure over here. As for your propellers, you have the big guard here, and then you're going to have this piece to protect it. Now, it just dawned on me, I am missing the piece. There was a piece that went underneath here, as this side is actually broken. This side is not. So when you turned it one way, just like with the whale, which I haven't got to yet, it followed. So that is something I guess I need to, if I want to complete it, but again, I'm not playing with these here. You can see back there how the engine sets behind that propeller. All right, so they put detail in all right through there. And even here, you can see it's kind of, this would be that metal or some sort of grip tape. So hopefully you can stay on a little bit better. As for the bottom here, it has this little piece here that plugs right on there. All right, now I would assume a lot of these got lost while trying to float it in the water. And I've still to this day never fully understood what this is. It's supposed to be some sort of surface torpedo, if I remember correctly. Now, there's nothing on the bottom here. This is supposed to float. This was one of the fastest sinking vehicles ever. The moment water started filling up, it started going under. This thing went down like the Titanic. All right. As for this little skid here, you can see that there's some sort of stuff underneath it. It uses the same type of pin system that the Skyhawk missile did. But you can see that this is supposed to, what I would assume, raise up. So it's going to move kind of like a hydrofoil. That's why it's topical base. But it does just plug in there. And it does stay on there fairly well. I mean, I guess the best that it could. All right. Now, as for arming this, we'll take our copperhead. Going to get him in here now. When you have a copperhead or any figure that has a loose leg, oh, you know what? We forgot to look at the interior. So, hard to see, but it does look like it's running some seat cushions there. On the side, you can see there's some sort of gauges there. Even over here on this side. Not the easiest to see in there. And I tell you what, when I look at this, when I'm done, it shows better than what I can see. All right. So it does have a little bit of gauges in there, just so you know exactly what you're looking at. Just gives it some depth, some feel to it. Stuff you probably didn't need to do, but they did. So we'll slide copperhead in here. Again, normally there should be a screen, like a glass that goes across here. It covers up. His head doesn't completely get covered. That's protruding out. As for the gun system, if you look there, this separated the legs. So when you turned it, we'll take our stinger driver. So when you turn the guns, and this was smart, he turned with it. All right? Where you look at the whale, you look at, was there any other one? You look at the whale, when you turned it, he didn't turn with it. Those figures stayed straight. So this is a really good design, just a strap that went right across it. As for the peg system, just be very careful. He's going to peg right in like that, depending on how you want it. You could have him in the kneeling position. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible so I don't break that peg off. I'm not sure what I'd be more mad at. The peg stuck in the bottom of his foot or the peg being broken off. So this thing could technically carry 4 different figures, and a lot less than what the whale did. But I think that this really was the more iconic water vehicle for Cobra. All right, there you go. That's your water moccasin. All right, so there you go. That is the G.I. Joe water moccasin, or the Cobra water moccasin. It came with Copperhead. This was a fun vehicle. I love the look of it. Very iconic. Used a lot in the cartoon. I believe it was also used in the comic a good amount. But tell me if you had this. Is this one that you had? Maybe your parents allowed you to get this. Grandma and Grandpa. Maybe you were there with Grandma, and Grandma's like, why don't you go and get that? I know you want it. And Mom and Dad were like, you can't have that. But guess what? You still got one. Because Grandma and Grandpa were really cool. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Tell me a story about this if you had it. But before you do, please take a second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic vehicle. But I know what you're saying. Peace fell. That's not what you're saying, because you weren't going to say it because you only heard it fall. Right now you're saying, I can't look at this and not have seen Copperhead. Well, Copperhead's going to be right here. And down here will be the playlist of all the G.I. Joe classic reviews that I've done. Take care.